blushing in my face, asking me if I'm scared of you. I'm about to lick your nose. That she's enticing me. I don't know. Okay, so with Hell's Paradise dropping a couple weeks ago, I wanted to make a video to talk about it because after watching a couple of these episodes, it's definitely making a statement. But if you haven't seen the first 4 episodes of Hell's Paradise, I would definitely go watch them. There will be spoilers in this video. So if you want to watch this first, by all means. But no, so right out the floodgates, they're trying to slaughter Gabimaru. Even in that first episode, I don't know what it was about his character, but I really gravitated towards it and I liked him. These samurai were doing everything in their power to put him in the dirt. He was sitting there wanting to get killed, but he also was like restraining a little bit. There was something internally keeping him like going. They gave the man the fucking Kozuki Odin treatment and he was still sitting there. His eyeballs weren't even melted, nothing. He was just walking out unscathed. Try stabbing the dude and then he uses his haki. But no, and I also like the introduction of this girl character. I don't even know her name yet. I'm sure they've said it, but I honestly forgot it. She's very likable too. But no, so they're in this dungeon and she's kind of spitting bars to him. He's trying to explain how he doesn't even want to be living anymore. And then she's like, well, you know, that shit's a lie. Because when we were trying to take you out with these 17 different strategies, there was always something with you keeping you attached to life. And I think it's because you love someone else that's not me. Had Gabimaru delusional, thinking his ass just got decapitated, and then he proceeds to break out of his shackles, and she flash steps to the nigga. Like, I thought she was the strongest character of the show off the bat with this swordplay. Mihawk probably wouldn't even stand a chance, because he was fearsome, but he was not moving like this. No, realistically, I might have just disrespected him. That was bad of me. He doesn't want to be perceived as weak. He's really trying to rock this cool guy persona, like, girl, you don't understand, like, I'm hollow, I hate it here, man. I'm trying to, like, he's on his emo shit, but he really doesn't even have to be because he has a loving wife at home who I guess had a willy imprinted onto her face. I don't know what type of abuse she endured. This is a 7-inch outline right now. But like his wife is his saving grace, and I don't know if she's gonna be a fraud in the future. Like I don't know what she's about because obviously we have little information on her, but for right now it seems like she's steering him in the right path, but he's just trying to deviate from it. And he's still boxing with this girl. I want you to understand it's not possible for me to live an ordinary life. I'm hollow, I'm Gabimaru. It's possible. This girl pulled out the forbidden jutsu scroll on his ass. This is an official pardon from the Japanese Samurai Protection Agency. You will never be harmed by any government official and it grants you protection, but it comes with one condition. We're going on a date to the underworld. And I'm not gonna lie, like visually, for Mappa's work, pairing it to the other 2 shows of the Dark Trio, I feel like the way that this show is starting, just the environment that we were about to hop into and the journey we were about to embark on, it definitely made me more excited than when Chainsaw Man started and even when Jujutsu Kaisen started. And then Gabimaru after this, just to flex, he's like, sweetie, you wanted to see some ninjutsu, right? Because I could pull this shit out the bag. Pulls out the fucking flame fruit on her ass. Man, see this? I swear to God. Gabimaru, put that fucking flame out, dog. Like he's doing this just for the style points. He wanted to keep both of those flames on his fingers just to keep this little ember blazing up in the air, looking up, taking this deep breath with the smoke coming out, man. And don't even get me started on his girlfriend. She's trying to keep her cool too, but she knows damn well that shit made her drenched. I don't even care. But no, I like the fact that this is a love story a little bit because he's really like, I'm gonna make it back from this island for you, darling. And we're at the meeting before departure. We got all the felons gathered up from the remote area, and this is where we start to meet a couple of the characters and a couple of future characters. I'm gonna go into more detail later about this one here. And she's a shit talker because she knows Gabimaru's track record because he's famous around these parts. She has the audacity to start talking to this man, you're way smaller, more wretched looking. Wretched because it's one thing to be called ugly, right? It's like you are ugly. If you call someone wretched, you're saying some shit like they are from the sewers. You reside with the rats. But I guess when you have that status, people just find something to hate on. And the officials in them say that these samurai surrounding them are going to be their little chaperones for their field trip. And we got Renji here because they're on hiatus right now. He got an extra gig, so he pulled up here for extra money. And I don't know what the fuck he brought to this show, but bring this shit back for... Bring this shit back for core number 2. They're like, participation is optional. You don't have to participate in this. This felon gets up out of his seat and he's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna dip. I don't even want to partake. This is not my style. He didn't even make Zabimaru roar. He just sneaky and swift slices his head off clean. Renji, bring that shit back. And the guy's breaking it down like, okay, if you guys try to escape, you will be beheaded by your chaperones. And then after that, he hits him with one of these. I'm gonna be honest with y'all boys. The criminal population from where we're from, this is a lot more than we anticipated. But to keep it frank, we won't be able to take all of you. So you're just gonna have to reduce your numbers. What? Am I speaking pig Latin or something? I said that we don't have enough ships. So just figure out a way to reduce your numbers and then we'll be good to go. See, and then we had Bakugo. I don't know if this is the good path or the bad path for Bakugo, if we're being honest, because I'm sure he's cracked. Like, look at like those scars on his face. That's looking good and all, but like he could have definitely gotten a good education at where he was. Like he was at the top of the top. And now he's here mixing in with the criminals like he is one. And I know he's better than this, but he just starts letting loose on everyone. Everyone starts going crazy. My girl starts hitting these boys with the Rock Lee combo. Leaf Hurricane on this shit. She's looking bad as hell. Woo! She's good. Sign me up, I'll be there. We have Gigantamakia from My Hero over here, and then we have some tall samurai looking dude. I don't even know how to explain it. Just like a nice caramel guy. We have Renji talking shit to Gabby Maru's crush here, talking about how she's not cut out for this job. Renji, we'll show you who's cut out for this shit momentarily. That's all. And he's sexist. Why would a woman bother to wield a sword? If she's good, she's good. And she gets a little triple kill really quick just to show him like she's about that and she can do it. It's just she does have a sense of morality to her. And then her demons are gripping all up on her though, so I don't know what that was about. But I will say that the visuals in this show, so good. And Gabby Maru, he reminds me of a Meliodas type of character, and I said this in a couple of the reactions I did. It's like he is very, very nonchalant, calm, but like he knows he'll beat anyone's ass. So he's sitting in the midst of this chaos, just chilling. But then he goes up to the boys asking them, yo, can we just come up with another method? Maybe just like a strength challenge. We could have tryouts. Who the fuck you talking to? Watch your tongue, fiend. Man, this nigga is not listening to me. Hey, yo, Vermin's at 10 o'clock. Whack! You guys are guaranteed a pass if you could kill him right now. Y'all boys leave me no choice for real. It's like, and I don't know who corrupted this nigga. He's definitely been through some shit if his method of attack is ripping out someone's throat. I forgot what Sasuke's move was in the Chunin exams. I think it's called like a Lion's Barrage. He hits the second dude with one of those and he shatters his upper spine. And this is where I drew the line with him, attacking this other one on his vampire shit. Who does that? Like he stuck both of his hands in this dude and was tickling his internals before just letting him like, you know what I'm saying? He brought a tear to this girl's eye. She's like, damn, I'm in love with this nigga, man. I swear. Because he's on his light skin shit too. It is golden hour. And no one can tell me otherwise because I actually have a lot of experience with golden hour. I do have somewhat of a caramel complexion myself. Look how the sun's beaming off the water. And if he was even a hint darker, it would have been a problem not only for his girl, for Miss Kunoichi over there. And I see this seductive sweetheart sitting over there too. She's not escaping my gaze either. Doing this little hair flip. He knows exactly what he's doing. His girl wants him to bind his hands. He doesn't want to. And she's getting serious a little bit. Immaculate fashion, by the way. I mean, this is why she's a part of her clan. Because the steadiness of her blade, how fast she unsheathed. This is what I liked. She said, let me explain this to you. I am not your friend. I am not your friend one bit. Bind your fucking hands. Me and you, we are not the same. And then this behemoth pulls up on his ass trying to get some work. And Gabby Maru and this guy start going at it. Keep in mind, Gabby Maru has his hands tied here. And this dude is unleashing his whole arsenal of weapons, airborne, dropping them down, making justice rain from above. And he's still weaving all this shit. We take off his mask and we find out that he's actually Solomon Grundy. This was funny as hell, because he's like, we're just getting started, Hollow. Gabby Maru looks at him. We get a nice little episode cut. Beautiful butterfly. And then he turned this man to an art exhibit. The way he left him skewered there is some shit you would see in a museum. I genuinely don't even know how he managed to pull this one off. And we're getting visuals on all the characters. We got this tall gentleman and his shorter chaperone with them. And then we, I don't know what's going on with this. You better be ready for a reckoning. If I'm sitting here with my sword chaperoning you and I hear you licking your lips behind me on some serpent shit, I'm turning around and we are gonna do exactly what you did to this man. And don't worry, I'm gonna keep my guard up. Like, I'm trained in this position. If you try something fast, I'm gonna do exactly what this man did to you, because he ended up killing her. But no, I would have probably tried to maintain my stronghold mentally, but I don't know if I would be able to. Maybe it's a good thing this happened. Now, this is what surprised me, but I think it was solely because this year is moving pretty fast. June, July is right around the corner, so we had to find a way to get him out of this show. But Renji in this show is actually considered like one of the stronger members of the Chaperone Squad. I thought he was about to cause a scene here, because he asked Rokuroda, he's like, yo, are you hungry? Because the way he was looking at him, it looked like he was salivating. They go at each other. This nigga's skin is hard as rocks. It's not like he shattered his blade with any sort of like force. His hand was just there and it shattered the blade purely on impact, hard as diamonds. And then next thing I know, next thing I see, he's in half. Rokuroda ate the first half of his body and then left the second half for later, like a fucking Subway sandwich, letting it marinate in the sunlight. But like, damn, I didn't expect him to go out in the way he did. But no, see, and Gabby Maru and this girl, this is already a toxic relationship, but it's going to flourish into something great because this is like their third time fighting now. And he's giving her some swordplay, but she's giving that shit right back. There are a couple instances in this little brawl where he could have killed her like 5 times over and he just didn't. And he's awakened and continues to awaken this hollow ass part of himself, because then he just snaps her sword in half. So it's like he wasn't even trying. But she's been in the lab too, because she's boxing back with her sword sheath. So she's very crafty herself. And you could tell he has that emotion because he's like, can you just die peacefully? Because killing you honestly will kind of hurt me. And she's like, damn boy, you still had those kind of emotions left? I didn't even think you had it in you. She's gonna get herself into some deep shit if she shit talks like this. She awoke in like the deepest part of this man's demon and he teleported to her. And they shared a little moment here because his wife gave him a sense of morality, like her spirit, he felt that. He's crying. It's a beautiful scene. And I said this in the reaction, I was like, this girl is like his twin flame, but his wife is his soulmate. That's why I was hoping at this point he kind of cheated on his wife. I don't want to say that, but it's like, this girl, I like her too. They've got chemistry. And after Gabby Maru damn near cheats on his wife, I don't know what the fuck these creatures are on, because I'm walking over here just chilling, minding my business, and I hate mosquitoes, so I don't know why the mod thought it was a good idea to bite my hand. Maybe it was the extra melanin, because I'm not really very fond of moths as it is. Like, they're cool, but like those big ones, they fly very erratically. If some moth pulled up on me with a wasp stinger and I look up and it's smiling back at me, I'm gonna grab his little body out the air and I'm gonna ask him where his boys are, because if you could look like a human, you could talk to me like one too, and we could discuss just like men. Don't come over here putting a big ass crater in my arm and expect to just fly away home free smiling at my ass. That's not happening. I'm gonna figure out where you and your family reside, and I'm gonna unleash wrath on them with my one hand. And the way that these enemies just start popping up, I'm honestly convinced that this is just the Elden Ring DLC at this point. These centipedes have those spider hand-like creatures. Worst enemies in the game, by the way. I hate those things. Those suck! So the fact that we got them mixed with some 60-leg centipedes, who even asked for this? I really like the design of these like monsters and creatures, because this is some otherworldly shit. 2 hands coming out the eyes, holding Obito's staff, with another one going through his neck. And then we have dudes pulling up like the Gyome fish. I don't like, that shit was probably a grouper and he's been caught too many times. Transformed his fins into fucking hands, grew feet, and look at him now. Dude became an Ashira. And this is why I said I like the enemies in this show, because these boys pulled out the corrupted Barney and friends. And I wasn't really a Barney enthusiast, so I don't know if his friends actually were there. Like, did he? No, he did. I remember there was like a green one and someone out. Yeah, so this is what happened to them when they lost their jobs and they were out in the streets. But no, these dudes are actually like scary. Like the Titans from Attack on Titan are just like scary, but goofy. You know, like I look at them and I get enraged by how annoying some of their faces look, because I just want to kind of poke their eyes out. Like, look at this one. Like, if you're looking at me like this, throw me the ODM gear. I don't even need training for this nigga. Like but like these guys, these are like the Wiggles of Titans, and I'm not dealing with that shit, because you already know they're overpowered. They're gonna turn me to fruit salad. I'm not doing that. The fish starts trying to fight Gabby Maru with his gum fruit, and again, this demon mode shit that he's on, I don't know what it's about. His eyes roll to the back of his head like the Undertaker, gets in this little crouch position. It's time for a fang over fang. And he just starts turning up on these dudes, and he's incinerating them from the inside out. This girl is in awe. She's like, this is the hottest shit I've ever seen about And then while he's doing that, my girl Yuzu Hira, is that her name? She pulls up with 2 escorts. I already know she's an issue. So now I'm slightly frightened. What is this girl bringing to the table now? And Gabby Maru thanks her. He's like, arigato gozaimasu, you saved my ass. I appreciate that, but what do you want? Because me and you were rivals. She says, hey, why don't we work together? Why you touching me like this? I would take a step back because I do have a wife. So I have to think about the possible outcomes here. I have Yuzu pulling up to me on some very erotic shit right now. I got my girl right. So we're basically living in 3 different worlds. It's like the good, the bad, the neutral. I would have definitely been able to contain myself for the most part because I do have self-control. I'm not a dog. But if she pulled some shit like this, I'm gathering the trio. I'm gonna bring you all back home. We're gonna discuss relations from there. Because for the second time now, I have her in an arm hold and I got her good. You know, I think I got her good. I triple dog dare you, Yuzu, to pull some shit on me like this. Cause like if we look at Denji's situation with Makima, that was definitely criminal. But if a girl pulled me in on some breakdance shit, I may have to propose right there. Cause we could experiment with that type of play. Because I'm somewhat of a dancer myself. No, this is bad. I'm looking at it. I never got a really clear look at this. She has me. Oh Lord, I'm cheating on my wife, and the way she pulled me in, and now I'm in this. I'm not gonna specify the position, but I'm in this position with you, blushing in my face, asking me if I'm scared of you. I'm about to lick your nose. That she's enticed to me. I don't know. How would she actually expect me to react? You can't do. And I know this is her whole gimmick. To transform me from Gabi Maru the Hollow to Gabi Maru the Munch. That's her whole plan here. My legs would have been weak. I would have been shaking. I don't know how he's keeping himself. She would have been holding me in airplane mode. Talking about, please, Gabi. When did I have it? Are we cordial like this? You better not let me act out here. I'm gonna let you be my teammate for now. That's exactly what I would say to her. She's being very secretive. If you're working on the squad, we can't have this. But she does get a slight exception because, as I said in my reaction, she has the crease of thickness. If we take a look at the side of her garments where she has her little opening, you could see that line in between thigh and lower abdominal, you know, and obviously everyone is going to have that crease depending on how they're angled. But if you have it basically standing up, that's how I already know that there's some action going on top of those femurs. But then after that, we find out Bakugo is actually brothers with Illumi, and they're going on a little rampage. His younger brother is actually his very own samurai, funny enough. So now they're working on this together. So they're going to definitely cause some havoc. I don't know how they're going to be implemented into this story, if they're going to actually end up being partners of Gabi Maru, or if they're going to end up being enemies, because I could already tell, like, they call this Bakugo dude the Bandit King, so he probably does have a little bit of like strength, but I already know Gabi Maru's washing him with his fireball jutsu, and that's no question. But that's where I'm caught up with the show. Now the thing is, it's like, I've really enjoyed this show. The animation art style, I think that shit is phenomenal. Some of the best in the game right now. And I saw a post on Twitter that said it was some of the worst right now. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what is this? Like, what are you even talking about? And that they can't properly animate characters the same every time. I like when you see the characters from different angles and their faces aren't necessarily the same every time, if done properly. And I feel like Mappa does it properly for the most part. I don't know why people nitpick this shit, because the show has looked beautiful the whole entire time. Shows aren't usually this vibrant. So when you see a little sequence with the lighting being very bright, I don't know what people expect. Like, of course, have your own opinion, but to say that this shit is a bad adaptation is kind of comical. I think it looks great. It's at least an 8 out of 10 for me, but I wasn't a manga reader either. But from what I saw in the panels, the shit is done to a T. I don't know what people are talking about. But that aside, if you've watched the reactions, you know how I feel about this opening. This is opening of the year potential. This shit gets me moving every single time. I was running yesterday. The second part of the chorus came in, I was gone. You just stay. I was like, ah, ah. Whoa! I don't know if it's just me. Some openings will have me like saying words or making noises out loud when I'm running. This opening is one of them. And I think the cast of characters that they've been introducing, it's a very diverse cast. And there's definitely a lot of different, like, no one is the same at all. Everyone has their own little traits. But I think Hell's Paradise has anime of the year potential. We'll see how it goes by episode 12. Assuming that it keeps going on this consistent pace that it's been on. I think it's had a very strong start. If I were to give it a rating out of 10 so far, I would give it like a 9. I've been enjoying it every week. I like how graphic the shit is too. It's very explicit. I like that we've been moving towards more explicit shows in recent time with the introduction of Chainsaw Man, Hell's Paradise. I'm sure Jujutsu Kaisen will get a little graphic too, since Mappa's been on that type of activity recently. But like Vinland too, Vinland gets a little graphic as well. So I do like it. It adds a bit more of realism to the show. That's really it. Without further ado, on to the next one. And Hell's Paradise on top. Let's get it.